right, you are live.
Okay. Hi, good morning, everybody. We are here this morning on August 3rd at 9 a.m. for our regular tribal council meeting. Regular tribal council meetings and mid-monthly meetings are live streamed through YouTube, through our go-to meeting. As you all are aware, so we are live. We will call to order at 9:06 a.m. Brian, could you say opening prayer for us, please?
Sure. Good morning, everybody. Our Heavenly Father, we come to you today with gratitude and thanks for all the many blessings that you place into our lives each and every day through your grace. We thank you for another day on your beautiful creation and to be surrounded by it and be able to experience it. We thank you for all the many blessings that you place into each of our lives. We thank you for the opportunity to discuss the affairs of our tribe, and we ask that you be with us as we do so. We ask that you be with all of our tribal members in the four directions, those that are in the hospital fighting COVID or any other disease, those that are defending our freedoms in whatever corner of the world that finds them, and those that need you in ways that we may not even understand. Thank you, Lord, for being with us. And we say these things in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus. Amen.
Oh, thank you for praying for us all. Okay, we have the agenda. Added items. Do we have any added items?
Mr. Chairman, I have one. Tribal member participation in tribal council go-to meetings.
The chairman, I have one too.
Okay, John.
I wanted to add the recycling program. I know it was stopped a while ago when the pandemic first started. And I know a lot of people like to recycle, so I would like that to be on the agenda.
All right. Thank you. Is there any others? No other added items to add to today's agenda? Can I get a motion to approve this amended agenda?
Make a motion to approve this amended agenda.
Motion by Eric. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Carl. Any objections? No objections? Discussion? Motion passed 8-0-0. Okay, we get into the meeting. Our first items is a reading of the minutes. We have one item to approve. It's the 7/28/20 mid-monthly meeting minutes.
Chairman, I have one correction.
Okay, John, go ahead.
It's added items. Item number 5. And it was
Yes.
just a part of my motion that isn't there. It's a CEO or equivalent of a tribally owned entity. So it just needs to be of a tribally owned entity that needs to be added.
On number 5.
Yes, number 5. After equivalent, add of a tribally owned entity.
Got it? Okay, we got it. We'll make that correction. We got it. The correction will be made. With that, to get a motion to approve.
I got a question.
Louis?
I have an item number 5. Yeah. Does that apply to Ron? Or does that just apply to Brian?
No, I think I made it pretty clear that it wasn't specific to Brian. It was specific to, like, if our 12 clans CEO had the support and wanted to serve on council, how that could happen, or HCI, or even the GM of our casino. So I wanted to get that figured out for the tribal council. It wasn't geared at anybody. I just wanted to have everything in front of us so we're doing things correctly.
Well, that don't seem fair. One can do it, and the other can't.
I think that's what the legal opinion is going to provide for us. I don't think any of us have those answers.
I think when we get that opinion advisory or so, that may pertain to department heads. Too, maybe. We'll discuss it when it comes in.
And just so you're aware, this already exists. It's something that I solicited when I was first elected 12 years ago.
Well, I think things change. Of course, we have revised codes, and I think it's a good idea to do it again. 12 years is a pretty lengthy time.
Well, my position hasn't changed in 12 years.
Okay. Let's see. Any more discussion? Get a motion to approve these amended minutes with the corrections?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion
Yeah,
by
Chairman,
Eric.
I think you already had the motion by Eric and Carl.
No, that was for the agenda. These are for the approve the mid-monthly meeting minutes with that correction. Correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, we were on approving the minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion by Eric. It was second by Thelma. Any objections? No objections? Discussion more? No? Motion approved. Minutes are approved. 800. Okay, our next items are ratifications. First ratification is HR Employee Handbook Edition. Is there a motion to ratify?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
There's a motion by Carl, second by Eric to ratify. Employee Handbook Edition. Any
Can we
objections?
have that read so people know what it is?
I got it right here, Chairman. I could read it.
Wanna read it, John? Okay. Go ahead.
It's adding the variable hour employee an employee hired into a temporary, intermittent, or part-time position not lasting longer than 12 months. A variable hour employee may work extended, limited, or irregular hours, including nights, weekends, holidays, and frequently rotating shifts and duty stations. We kind of ran into this with the woodcutters because they're not, there wasn't a category for them because their positions exist as the funding exists. So it was hard to categorize them as a full-time permanent or temporary, because temporary don't only lasts for 90 days.
Any questions, discussion? Done?
Yeah, hold on. Slow it up.
Go ahead.
We're talking about these employees here and their rights. We should take our time with this. Trying to rush through that, Mr. Chair.
Nobody's rushing. What's your discussion?
These people that are going to be coming into these this category that we're discussing here. John alluded to that. When they come on board, we have people working in our workforce here that are tribal members. And we want to make sure that whoever they are, that they're treated fairly. And then for whatever reason, not moved around unnecessarily. Because the way this reads, they can do just about anything they want with these employees that fit this category. And these are human beings that have lives, they have children, they're working to try to make an honest living, to take care of their families. And it's up to us to take care of them. I want to make sure that when we approve anything, that we address all those avenues. These are the people that elected us to look out for them.
Okay, are you finished?
Yes.
Motion by Carl, second by Eric. Is there any objections?
I object.
Okay, we'll call for the vote. All in favor? Raise your right hand, please. I got Carl, yes. Eric, yes. Thelma, yes. Louis, yes. John, yes. Lorelei, yes. Brian, yes. That is 7. 7 yes. No?
I think that this needs to be looked at further.
Okay. 1 no, Rollin, and 0 abstentions. Motion passed 7-1-0. I guess I would say it's doing them good. These we've been having these people work for us on a temp basis quite a while. Now they have a spot, a starting spot in this handbook. And that's a start for them. And that's good. That's a good thing right there. Thank you. Ratification number 2. COVID-19 screening symptom and confirmed diagnosis policy. This policy was created for the opening of us coming up here soon. Esther?
Yes, it is. And we sent out an email to everybody notifying that the security officers were going through an orientation this morning, so that we did get questions about why there wasn't anybody at the doors this morning. And that's the reason why, and they are tentatively scheduled to be stationed at the doors by 11 a.m. And the purpose of that policy is to provide guidelines on screenings and what the processes are if and when somebody is screened and they're displaying signs of COVID, what the steps have to be taken as far as leave, as far as who notifies who of what, those types of issues that will come up with that.
Is there any more discussion? Questions, comments? No? We get a motion to ratify?
Motion to ratify, Chairman.
Second.
Motion to ratify, John, second by Eric. Discussion? Any objections? No objections, no discussion, no questions. None? Motion passed 8-0. Thank you. Item 3, purchase backhoe for facilities department with Treasury CARES Act funds. New equipment. Purchased a backhoe for facilities with the Treasury CARES Act funds from Murphy Tractor for $63,655, correct? Went with the low bid. Low bid was 1,690 lower than the others. Is there a motion to ratify?
Motion to ratify, Chairman.
Motion by John, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Carl. Any objections? Discussion? None? Motion passed 8-0. Thank you. Item 4, approve extended housing and utility assistance rule.
Second.
Who motioned?
Louis.
Louis. And it was second by Roland. Discussion? Any objections? No objections and no discussion? Motion passed 8-0. Thank you. Number 5, approve COVID-19 health screening policy.
Chairman, can we just touch on what that last item was real quick?
On
Just for the membership, for their information. I got it right here in front of me. If I could just read it real quick.
you gonna read the CARES Act housing and utility assistance?
Yeah.
Okay, John, go ahead.
So what that is, it's going to expand the program to include households that are not headed by a tribal member, but that have a tribal member dependent or foster children in the home. We've run into some situations where we have tribal members who reside there, but the head of household isn't a tribal member. So we want those funds to reach them as well. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Mr. Chair, for the sake of clarity, I want to say thank you to Vice Chair Snowball and taking the time to read that to our membership so that it's clear. We know that there's at least 10 out there, 10 individual children that are out there in that system, so that with this funding, we are able to reach out as far as we can with it to take care of our membership. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Oh, we're on item 5. COVID-19 health screening policy. I have a question to start. Esther, why isn't this to go in hand with item number 2?
Sorry, Chairman, I was just on the phone. What was the discussion?
I was just curious why item number 5, COVID-19 health screening policy, doesn't kind of go in hand with the number 2 item we ratified, COVID-19 screening symptom.
Hold on, I'm trying to find the, I'm trying to do timesheets. Pull the agenda up. I'm not for sure why they're not put together on the agenda. I mean, I wasn't the one that did the agenda, so I don't know why they're not together.
Mr. Chairman, I'll just go ahead and make a motion to approve that.
Okay. Okay with that. Motion by Lorelei. Second by Louis. Yep, second by Louis. So this policy should be with the number added on to the COVID-19 screening symptom and confirmed diagnosis policy. Esther?
Yeah,
That's part
yeah.
of it?
So they should have been together. And like I had said earlier, that we had to develop protocol, 1 for the screenings that are taking place. And then 2, the one that I think you guys had approved earlier, now that I'm able to sit here and look at it, that this is, for, the one that you guys had approved earlier has to do with like the leave that we're allowing for our staff. You know, what happens after with the, on the employee end, if and when somebody isn't able to pass the screenings, or if and when somebody is put on quarantine. You know, we have to have all of that spelled out somewhere. So that's what that policy, these policies are.
Okay. Is there any more discussion? Is there any objections to ratify? None? Motion to ratify passed 8-0. Number 6, approved purchase a capital outlay van from Grant, Nebraska 2020-12-00. Joy?
That is actually where a grant that's already been awarded, one that we submitted earlier, we were awarded it shortly after the first of the year. and they're ready to purchase. One of the challenges they had was as Dave shared with me, the number of vans that are even available to purchase, but because it's over our regular limit, I believe it's going forward for tribal council. Otherwise, I'm not quite certain why it's on the agenda. But it is with approved funds.
Motion to ratify, Chairman.
Second.
Motion to ratify by John, it was seconded by Eric. Is there any objections? Discussion? No objections, no discussion. Motion passed 8-0. Thank you. Number 7, ratification. Approval for one change opening date to September 8th to follow WPS to revise yellow policy, approve code plan, and approve staggering of staff policy. I would think this is Educare? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, any
Carrie and Peggy had a call with their program specialist, and they also were receiving a lot of feedback from parents. So their program specialist recommended a virtual option be added into the yellow policy. So if parents didn't feel comfortable sending their child back when school start, that they would be allowed to do virtual. And they're in the process of setting that up right now, what that's going to look like. Also, so that's the revision in the yellow policy, is to add that virtual option. I think later today, the school board or the school will be announcing September 8th as the opening date. And with the rise in cases, not last week, the week before, that they wanted to follow suit with the public school and move the opening date back to September 8th. Also, so they have like a weekly chart of who's in every week. So I think this week will be just the leadership, and they're setting stuff up of what it will look like. Carrie or Peg, you want to chime in what the other weeks will look like? Because I know that they have pre-service scheduled for staff, but want to move that back since the opening back up won't be till September 8th. And then the final thing, working with the health department, they did helped us create what it would look like, or what it needs to look like in the case that we're opening at a yellow. What would the situation have to be in Winnebago for us to be able to move to a green, or to a red? So that was developed with the guidance of the health department, and so we included that also. But Peggy and Carrie can kind of update you on the weekly, how they want to transition staff to coming back.
Okay.
Well, we have in the document that we would like to this week bring back our leadership, and then starting next week, bring back one teaching staff per classroom. So we have 16 classrooms. They'll be working half days, and then the other half will be telecommuting from home. We do have a lot of virtual training set up for the staff, and then working on home visits, getting things ready for their classrooms, things that they can do outside of Educare as well, that they can do at home. Just trying to minimize the amount of staff in the building at a time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I just want to say that I have no problem sitting back following for this kind of circumstance, you know. I guess, you know, talk about being as leaders, you know, as Native Americans, you know, that with our strength and our, you know, how strong we are, that I have no problem sitting back following how for the safety of our children and our old ones, our elders, to see what goes on out there. It's still bad. There's no cure yet. There's no vaccine. So thank you for that, ladies.
Chairman.
Yes, Eric.
I would like to say thank you to Educare for their due diligence in getting us this far and coming up with a plan. And I'm wondering if they were, because they were talking about moving to a red or green plan as we're going through this process now. Are we looking at both options for the future for the school? Should anything change for the better or worse?
Yeah, so the difference is the green plan would be, you know, all students in the building, teachers in the building, still limiting the parents from not coming in the building, limited traffic into the rooms. We have participated in calls with other educators. They, you know, most of them are open, and we've learned from their, you know, mistakes basically where they've had positive cases come up and then they've had to close. So we're really trying to take all of those ideas and incorporate them here, limit the traffic of our staff going in an area. So if a child or a staff become positive, we can track where that person went, limiting the kids to just their classroom. I think that's going to be most important. We're putting all these safety measures, you know, their temperature taking, the hand washing before they come in. The teachers are not wearing their shoes from the outside. They'll be wearing Crocs when they come in the building. We are ordering the same system that facilities as far as the fogging and all that. And we're going to do that on a bi-weekly basis. So I think we've worked with our company that changes our filters to upgrade our filters in the air system so that it it prevents those things from going in the air. And you know, just really being stringent on making sure our staff are going to follow the policies. We were approved for the mask that shows the mouth. I'm not sure where that's at right now, but hopefully we'll have those in place by the time that we do bring the kiddos back. Staff will be wearing those. Staff are wearing them now. And yeah, I think we are ready, but we also understand too of the cases, and we just, you know, we can ask the questions, we can take the temperatures, but you know, our kiddos are going to be coming from all over the homes in Winnebago, so we don't know, you know, and once they come in the building, then we just want to have that good tracking system, so we, in a case that something does happen, we know where to shut down, and the whole building don't have to shut down, you know.
Okay, good, thank you.
I have a question, Amy. Is culture any part of the educational thing that you're doing?
We yeah, I mean, it has been, there's stuff we're trying to improve on that. We've been trying to work with Renaissance. Last year it was 15 minutes for the preschool kids. We're hoping to improve on that, but we haven't really met with Renaissance since we closed down.
Is it possible to do a virtual with them for the kids?
I would think so. I mean, we'd probably have to reach out to Blue to figure out how we could do that. I know that we are, some of the grants that we submitted will hopefully improve some systems that we can incorporate the language and culture that takes off the stress of having Blue sending his staff down here. Which is like recording things and but that's if we're funded for the grant. So something's coming up for the future. We just don't really have it right now.
This is
Okay.
Esther.
Thank you. Amy.
Renaissance staff was almost entirely furloughed over the summer, and that, you know, was an unfortunate decision that we had to make, but it was a decision that we had to make given our funding options that we had available at the time. And so their staff had only just recently been recalled. And so hopefully now with their staff being recalled, Education and Renaissance can start to have those discussions now. But the reason, again, you know, why it wasn't happening was because there was simply no staff available to have those discussions. So.
Okay, good.
Mr. Chair, we're talking about things that aren't on this agenda. It's a good question. It's a good topic. It should be discussed thoroughly. I know that we brought this up a year ago. I thought that we had that worked out. Evidently, we still have some things to do. Well, we could stick to this agenda on what we're supposed to be discussing here. Do we have a motion on the floor yet?
Nope.
I'll make that motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Roland to ratify, second by, who's it seconded by? Eric? Any more discussion? Any objections? None? Motion passed 8-0 to ratify. Thank you. Okay, we go on to new business. Number 1, planning consultant RFP.
We had sent out re-advertised again, and we didn't get any more back in. So I just wanted to go with the 2 that we have. And I wanted to make a motion to approve to select Heidemann as our general counsel.
That's old business. We're on new business.
Yeah, this is planning. The
Oh, I'm
planning
sorry.
Department.
Wrong.
Mr.
George?
Chair, I had a chance to go over that. I was looking at that, and then to have somebody come in and help us with this 10-year plan that we've been waiting on for so long. We had a whole year to get this taken care of, and then we just kind of just let it go by. I would like to see this done sooner than later. Motion to approve.
Is that a motion to put out the RFP?
Yes.
Okay. Motion by Roland, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion by Roland, second by Carl. When are we gonna sit down and discuss the plans for this? We have discussion now?
That would be good, Mr. Chair.
What's that?
I think that would be a good idea, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I have a comment when you have.
Go ahead. Brian.
So it's my understanding that this plan is just now being called for, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And we wanted to make certain the council understood their role and participation.
Okay, thank you, Joy. My comments on this then I guess I'm not opposed to trying to look for somebody else to try to create this, but I also think that it's incumbent upon the 9 members of the council to try to place our own views on what this ought to be in relation to a plan for the tribe, unless I'm mistaken of this being for something else. The timeline factor of it will come into play, what its general purpose is going to be, the way that it's going to be done, the resources that are going to be allocated toward it. All of that needs to be put into this discussion besides just calling for the action to be made. And so while I'm not opposed to that, again, I want to make it clear that for everybody's purposes here, I think that it's our responsibility to create that for the tribe itself as well. It is not necessarily, in my view, something that somebody else is responsible for. It's something that this council is. And so I want to make sure that we're not ignoring that factor. Thank you.
I want to say thank you to Councilman Chamberlain for his input in regards to this. It's a very serious endeavor that we're going to be taking on. We're looking at a 10-year plan, and that includes membership's input and the needs that this community has, and meeting those needs within this plan has to be a part of that. And having the input of this council is crucial moving forward. And I agree with him. There's many facets of this plan that need to be considered for us to be a functioning, healthy society. It's multi-level, simultaneous, going down the track. This is going to take a collaborative effort. All of us are going to have to roll up our sleeves and actually do some work and think about that. But we also have to have input from our membership. Whoever that consultant is.
On that paperwork submitted on the timeline part, it says bids shall be submitted no later than 4:30 p.m. on July 31st, 2020.
Yes, we will update the times on there. We've put this in front of the council at least 2 or 3 times, and it's been pushed back. And so I want to make certain that we have an opportunity to meet before I change the dates again. So essentially, we're trying to give where we send out the solicitation, we want people to have approximately 30 days to respond to get us the information so that we can move forward and accept a consultant to do the work.
Okay, good. Do you have a date, an extension date?
Essentially, with your approval today, we'll go ahead and change the dates. And so by the end of the month, whatever day that is, probably the 30th of, yes, so the 30th of August. Actually, it'll be the 28th. We'll close it on the 28th because that's the last Friday of the month.
Okay, good, thank you. It'd be good to get somebody out there to do that survey to see what our membership wants us to do, accomplish for them. That's what we are here for. Serve our people. Thank you. Any more discussion, comments? None. Is there any objections to the motion? No objections? Motion passes 0-0. Thank you. Number 2 of new business, adopt resolution FY 2020 FHWA U.S. Department of Transportation Tribal Transportation Program Safety Funds Opportunity Project. Joy?
This is a tribal transportation safety plan. We have one in place now, and it's time to update it. And so we'll be soliciting funds to assist with that. We're looking at bringing on a assistant planner into our office, and that person will be a key person for carrying out this work.
Motion to adopt.
I'll second, Chairman.
Does this resolution need a new number? Joy?
Yes, it will need a number.
Okay. Thelma, new resolution number?
20-164.
Okay, it was on there. Sorry about that. Okay, there's a motion to adopt resolution 20-164. Fiscal year 2020 FHWA U.S. Department of Transportation Tribal Transportation Program Safety Funds Opportunity Project. Motion to adopt by Brian, second by John. Is there any objections? No objections? Questions? None? Motion passed 8-0-0. Okay, we're on to old business. General counsel selection.
Okay, sorry for jumping ahead on that last one, but we only had two to select from. Like I said, it was put out extended advertisement. We didn't get any, so I just want to make a motion to hire Heidemann as our general counsel.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Thelma. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Carl. Discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I haven't seen any bid by either of the two bidders. I have
It was
not
that
been
you
given
got
the
them in
bid.
your packet from last time.
They're not in there.
On your the last council meeting, you picked up your packet, they were in that one.
I did not have them in
And
there.
Teresa stated you put them in there.
Mr. Chairman, I have not seen either bid.
Okay.
So I'd like to have time to see the bids before we act on this.
I'm in the same position as Lorelei. I want to review the bids.
Okay, noted. We're in discussion. I guess my input is, have we ever thought of hiring our own attorney? What it would save us if talk about cost saving, one individual. Consider that. It could be somebody from Big Fire, one of our own lawyers that want to kind of go off, represent us themselves or so. I know we have tribal members that are working for Big Fire. And Esther, any IDC funds could cover that? Some of it?
I would think so. And that's where I'm assuming it's being paid from at this point, but I don't have your budget in front of me to know that as a fact. But I, again, would like to have council also consider the fact that we might need more than one legal firm to represent us, because we have ran into some conflicts of interest this past year. For example, with the matter with the LPTC board, where we had to reach out to an alternative law firm because there was a conflict of interest with that matter, because Big Fire was already representing the college in that matter and couldn't perform the duties of investigating that issue with the LPTC board because of that reason. And so we wound up having to reach out and get an alternative law firm for that purpose. And so it may be something to consider, having more than just one legal entity representing the tribe.
Didn't we already take action to have Heidemann kind of be a co-counsel, co-general counsel? Anybody?
I think that was specific to ICWA.
Okay. Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
I think having two different companies represent the tribe will be more expensive than we would need to spend on that. And so I think that should be like on a case-by-case basis. And like you said, to have a coal company standing by for something like that to save us some money. Just a thought.
Okay. Any other comments around discussion?
Mr. Chairman, will somebody
Let's see a
respond?
flag.
Because I'd like to see the bids. I think I have a right to see them before we make a decision as a tribal council member. I have not been given
They
the
were on your
bids.
July 28th mid-month packet.
No, they
You
weren't.
got them on the 28th.
No, they weren't. I did not get these bids.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I believe those bids were also sent
What's
to
up?
us, the email. And it should be in our emails. And if not, then I think they should be able to be emailed right now. And we can move this item to the end of the agenda.
They were on the July 28th packet. If you don't have them on the computer, on your Outlook, they were in there.
I don't think they went out on the computer because they were too thick.
Okay,
Mr.
they
Chairman,
didn't go
they
out.
were
They
not.
didn't go out. They did not go out because of the packet. There was too many pages. They're in your mailboxes? Do you guys check your mailboxes?
I did not receive them on in my inbox, nor did I get them by email.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I think I need time to look them over too, before we make a decision. I think that's my right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's a motion on the floor.
Can we have these bids sent out to the email and move this item to the last item of the agenda?
It doesn't give me time to review them and think about them. I need time.
Thelma and Carl? Reconsider your motion? Yes or no?
I'll say no.
Thelma?
I'll say no, because this has been on here about 2 months ago now, and we've been putting it off, and here we are again. Teresa did put them in your guys' boxes for the July 28th meeting, so I don't know why you guys didn't get them.
Okay. There was a motion on the floor. Second, it was motion by Thelma, second by Carl. To go with Heidemann law firm, correct?
Yes.
As general counsel. Any objections to the motion? Okay. Okay, we'll call for the vote. All in favor, raise your right hand, please. See Carl, Eric, and Roland. Yes. No. Raise your right hand, please. See Lorelei, Brian. And
There's some
Lily.
additional comment that needs to be mentioned.
Okay, hold on. Abstentions. Okay. Okay, that motion passed. No, the motion is 3 yes, 3 no, 1 abstention. Brian, you had discussion. Go ahead.
Yeah, the first is a question is the reason why this is being brought forward is because the contract expired or for some other reason?
It's for conflict of interest. And that vote was 4-3-1. There was 4 yeses. Myself, Carl,
So because
Eric,
you
and
perceive a
Roland.
conflict of interest, therefore this is on the agenda? My question remains
What
the
was that?
same. What's the reason this is on the agenda?
It's been on the agenda for last few months now for conflict
sure
of
has,
interest.
but
And
that
it's
doesn't
been
answer my
out
question.
there.
What's the reason?
I just told you.
Because it's been on there? That's what
There's
you
too much
said.
conflict of interest. Same thing with the court system. A lot of things going on with the
Exampled by what?
conflict of interest.
Exampled by what?
They represented you guys. And there's a lot of other things too, just like Esther had stated earlier. There's a lot of conflict of interest where we can't use them in certain occasions.
So, Mr. Chairman, my comments in this then are, if there's the belief that general counsel delivering services is somehow going to be kept immune from various levels of what can be perceived as conflict of interest, it can also be stated then that Heidemann is now going to be in the same situation because the ongoing litigation that was brought up by Thelma just now, therefore she opened the door for this discussion, is going to place them in that exact same position. So therefore, how can you claim conflict of interest against one firm when your actions still pending in court are going to place the new firm that you just selected? But that's, I mean, it's argumentative at that point, and it seems rather frivolous. And then also the other side of that is a point of order, Mr. Chairman. The motion needs to be recalled because it does not satisfy several requirements in the tribe's approved procurement policy. Most specifically, within that policy, item 5 of the Indian preference requirements. I believe Big Fire satisfies that and Heidemann does not. And because this motion failed to waive this policy, point of order must be issued and the motion declared out of order.
That is noted. But going back to the motion, it was an error by me. It was yes, Carl, yes, Eric, yes, Roland, and yes, Thelma. That is 4. No, Lorelei, Brian, and Louis, 3. 1 abstention. John. With that, motion passed 4-3-1.
And I renew my point of order, Mr. Chair.
Okay, noted. We're going
It
to
needs to be
tribal
ruled
council
upon.
items. What's that?
It needs to be ruled upon.
Policy? Noted it, you noted the policy?
Yeah, the policy was not waived and the motion violates the policy. So therefore, if we're talking about violations of policy as law in some people's definitions, then law was just violated.
Noted. Okay, we move on to tribal council items. We move on to tribal council items. Elizabeth Shane, member request. Louis?
This item in being cheaper. So we made the determination that that's a fact.
What was the question?
And we made a factual determination that Heidemann is cheaper. I haven't seen it. They may cost more. We can't say that without looking at the facts.
Yeah, I don't know if we can
We're just
determine
getting
that.
Heidemann sold down the road.
If we can, I don't know if we can determine that, how much we will use, what the differential will be until, you know, in maybe a year or 90 days, 6 months, I don't know. Okay, we go on to tribal council items. Elizabeth Shane, member request. Liz St. Cyr. She's putting in a request for reimbursement of $2,900. I, Elizabeth St. Cyr Shane, had recently graduated from dental assistant classes in November 11th of 2019. I sought out help from the higher education program through the Winnebago tribe after filling out a FAFSA financial aid form and receiving an estimated cost from Montana State University for a semester of school. I was informed the Winnebago tribe higher education program would only help me with $3,100 in covering the $5,995 cost of the course. My husband and I had no choice but to take out a personal loan for the amount of $2,900 to cover the other half. Basically, that's what her request is, for $2,900. After some discussion, I guess, as we all know, how it goes, you know, you have to take out, sometimes you have to take out student loans to cover what the tribe cannot cover. That is my comment. Is there any action on this? Is there a
Mr. Chair,
motion? Yes.
you have a motion on the floor?
No. I was just calling for it. Go ahead.
These tribal members that are trying to achieve a better life for themselves are taking on that endeavor to discipline themselves and keep their focus so that they could achieve a higher standard of living and become a professional and society. So for us to kind of just not take a look at that and then try to support these tribal members out there in the four directions, wherever they may be, in their pursuits for a higher education and a better way of life for their families. We should be supporting that, and just kind of just not just kind of kick it to the side and say, oh, well, too bad. There's a lot of things that we should be trying to consider when it comes to the well-being of these tribal members and higher education. It makes for a better society, makes for a better tribe to have our members, our enrolled members, to reach these milestones. So I want to make that known in this before we make a motion on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments around discussion?
I'd like to make a comment.
Go ahead, Carl.
This is the second time in like a few days I've seen some denied or not awarded. On this award letter, I don't see any reason why it was reduced, a request. So that's what I'm bringing out, that along with Rollins that said, I don't know this person, but evidently she's a tribal member. And I personally would grant her a request because we're trying to improve herself and going to school. So that's what I got to say.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, this is Esther.
Yes.
The amount that this individual was awarded is the maximum amount that the higher ed office is able to award through their scholarship program. So that's why the amount that she received was the amount that she received. And I also wanted to remind council that we do have a policy regarding our Winnebago scholarship and financial aid policies and procedures, which states the Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska will not be liable for education loans obtained by students, nor will the tribe co-sign for loans. Loans are the responsibility of the parent and/or student.
Thank you, Esther.
Yes, thank you for that, Esther.
We're not on TV. Did it just go off?
Okay. Is there a motion on this request? That was one. Number two, is there a motion on this request?
Mr. Chairman, sorry to interrupt. It seems like we've lost Louis, just for your information.
Okay.
We're getting
I'm
hold of
here.
Brandon right now.
The computer says to turn off the webcams.
Okay, he's there. He just lost the camera.
Louis has audio.
Thank you, Louis.
I'm not lost.
Okay, third and final call. Is there a motion to approve this request for $2,900? That is her request.
I think we have to do something for her. She went through a lot and graduated. $2,900 isn't that much when we consider how big we are. And I make the motion to honor her request.
Okay, there's a motion by Louis. To reimburse Elizabeth Shane St. Cyr $2,900 to cover. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Brian. Is there any more discussion, comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Eric.
I'd like to say thank you to Esther for bringing this to our attention. But if this was brought to our attention a little bit earlier with these policies, that it might not have gotten this far. And now I personally feel like we may have opened the door for others to come along and follow this course. And so after this payment, I would like to return to sticking to those policies that have been put in place for that. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
this is Lorelei.
yes, Lorelei.
You know, when we make a motion, we have good hearts and we have compassion for our people. But we also have to remember that we have a set amount of funding that we place in higher ed. And higher ed figures out how many students can be helped and at what their tuition help would be each year. And then the students are told that what they're going to get from the tribe because of the amount of resources that we're able to put in there. So when a student's tuition is higher, are we ready to pay as a tribe? Because once we approve giving somebody higher than what all the other members got that are in college, are we ready to approve this motion? And then every one of those students can come in here and get their reimbursement. And so I feel for this Elizabeth Shane, but at the same time, we have all these other tribal members that lived within that $3,100 and did something else, maybe got a loan. So I just need to caution us, we're setting a precedent and we don't have the resources to treat all our students equitably on this. So I'm just asking all of us to think about this precedent. Thank you.
I agree.
Yeah, thank you. I somewhat agree, and that's why I opened up a statement, to kind of cover that. But I too, I believe as a tribe, and I know they're gonna start come rolling in, and go back to that planning and stuff. Number one item, should be our revenue coming in. Increase that. So we can help our people like that. I really do. I really want to. Everybody. I know we can't right now. So I hope this work continues. Now we need to do more. We need to do better things. We need to get that Nebraska gaming going. We need to expand our Winnebago casino. We need to get more revenue somehow, some way, so we can help all our people, all of them, not pick and choose. Thank you.
Chairman.
Any more discussion? Yes.
I just wanted to let the council know that me and Elizabeth St. Cyr Shane, our families are real close, and we recognize the relationship, and I would help her. So for that reason, I haven't participated in discussion, and I'll be abstaining from the vote. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any more discussion?
Chairman, if I could say something? Yes. The only way, I agree with our Lorelei and Eric on this, because setting precedents here. The only way I could see me approving this would be if she was guaranteed a job at our dental to work here.
Okay, very good comment. Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman, I'm aware that she would qualify for the loan repayment program if she applied herself here to our 12 Clans Hospital. Because she's Indian and they have under the 638 contract that we have, that's an item to get healthcare professionals. So this 2,900, if she did apply here, she would be eligible if she was selected to get the student loan repayment benefit. Thank you.
Good comment. Thank you for that.
I have a comment.
Louis.
This whole issue brings up the fact that we need to add more money because we got students graduate and going off to another college. And we're going to have more because our program is successful. Our education a priority. And we have to take a look at what's going on. Things for financing. That's why I want to know why if Heidemann would cost us more money, we should be able to make an analysis and find out. We got to take a look at all of our programs and to see where we're spending our money and what our priorities are. And based on money where the need is the greatest. We can't blame these young kids for going out and living their dream it takes a lot of energy to go to school. I know the family. I'm not related to them. But we have to find a way to change our rules to meet the needs of these students. And we'll have more. We've got to face that fact that the women in the tribe are more educated than the males. It's been that way since we started that college. The first year, the average age of the women students were 27 years of age, with 1.5 children. And they made them up about 70% of the enrollment. It's happening. You count the number of lawyers, and you'll see the majority of them are women. We need to adjust and take a look. Take a look at what the needs of the students are. I know that it doesn't fit within the rules. I know a lot of other things that don't fit between the rules, and they happen. So that's why I made my motion. Get some people riled up. That's all right. It makes us think more. It makes us look at the problem more. And we can solve this. That's all.
Mr. Chairman,
Thank you, Louis. Eric,
I think this is a good discussion for a later date, maybe with Patrice Bass, the scholarship officer, to check the parameters on these loans and the financial amount that the school or whoever might have for that. But I think we should we have a motion on the floor and carry on with that. Thank you.
okay, there's a motion by Louis, a second by Brian to approve the request to reimburse Elizabeth Shane with $2,900 to cover her tuition for dental, to be a dental assistant. Is there any objections? Okay, I see an objection. We'll call for the vote. All in favor? Raise your right hand, please.
I know I'm all right. I'm in
Louis.
favor.
Louis is in favor, yes? Okay. I've seen Brian and I hear Louis is in favor. No. Raise your right hand. No, I see 3 hands, Carl, Eric, and Lorelei. Abstentions? Raise your right hand. Oh, and Thelma. Abstentions? I see 2. John and Roland. Motion failed, 2-4-2. Okay. We move on to our added items. Tribal member participation, tribal council meetings with our go-to meeting. Lorelei.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I know that the tribal council went to virtual meetings in order to protect all of our tribe from transmission of the COVID-19. And so I'm in support of that. But also, when we went to virtual meetings, what got cut out in the process was participation by our tribal members in these virtual meetings. And so that's what I want to add, is that our tribal members should be able to participate in our go-to meetings. They can comment. They should be able to ask questions. And so that's why I wanted us to approve that. So any of our tribal members that want to participate, they can in our go-to meetings. That's their right. And also I was told that the go-to meetings, you can have up to 500 participants in a go-to meeting. And just a couple weeks ago, the public school held a go-to meeting and they had 60-some parents participating. So it's not like technologically we can't do it. So that's what I'm putting on the agenda. Our tribal members' right to participate in tribal council meetings. Thank you.
Is that your motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I second it.
Second by Louis. Discussion, Eric.
I think, thank you, Chairman. I think with 500 participants in one of our council meetings for every subject that we go through, I think we'd be looking at a 12 to 15-hour meeting if everybody could at least take up their 5 minutes. And we know a lot of our enrolled membership can take up a lot more than that on any given subject. And so I think we would have to have more parameters on who can speak and how long they can speak for, because otherwise our meetings are gonna start getting really long. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, Chairman. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. John, yes, thank you for, I was gonna ask you, did we create a policy for this?
Right now, tribal members already have the opportunity to get the link. That's already a process that we have. So I think maybe some more information from our communications department on to download the app and how to really partake in these meetings. But it is a good topic that Eric brought up, is we also needed to figure out how our chairman can control the meetings. That way we can remain in order, in an orderly fashion. But I'm all for the motion, Chairman. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with this to allow it, but I think we do need to make those parameters, you know, because I believe a lot more people can be online and we could be disrupted more. So we do need to, if this passes, do you want to make a policy, discuss this with a policy, this Lorelei? Or just open it up?
Well, Mr. Chairman, in a regular meeting, when we used to be able to have regular meetings with any tribal member that wanted to come, all they had to do was raise their hand and wait for the chair to acknowledge them. So I'm not saying all 500 people are going to want to raise their hand, but you as the chair, if the mechanism is there, there should be a raise my hand. And the tribal member can raise their hand, and it's up to you as the chair, given the amount of time, how many comments you can take from, like we always do.
Okay.
So that, and I don't see we're gonna have 500 people unless everybody's really mad. So I just don't understand, but I am open to tabling my motion until we get some feedback, maybe at our next meeting from our IT people, how this could work. Where is there a way to have raise your hand so that we, you as the chair, can see how many hands, and then acknowledge who, given the amount of time between each item on the agenda? I mean, I'm open to, but I want to get the discussion going and get input from IT. So that's why I was raising this point, but I'm willing to table my motion if we can give IT time to look at it and come back with how they think it could work.
Okay, good. We have a land meeting Monday. That gives them the rest of today and all week. Is that okay?
I'm good with it, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I want to say thank you to Councilwoman Decorah for her input in regards to making sure that the people's voices are being heard and their concerns are being addressed. I appreciate that effort that you put toward this. And then your willingness to table this for the sake of clarity and making sure that we can accommodate and do what's necessary. In regards to that, are we going to develop policies so that it works for the council to be able to function? One, and then two, what parameters that's going to be, and then three, making sure that the people still have a voice. That was it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Chairman?
Yeah.
Chairman, Lorelei, I think the one that you're talking about, it's Skype Business, where they have that little raised hand you can do, or, because I don't know if this one has it, the go-to meeting, but I'm pretty sure IT can figure that out for us and get it going. I think that's a good idea. Thank you.
Yeah, we can have them create a little policy for us. We won't. Okay.
I think the public has when they see us go into executive session, they don't like that. It looks like we're hiding something. And that's what we have to do. We have to talk issues out in the open. They got to see what was behind a motion that says that the activity was frivolous. They need to look at the facts. And we haven't provided them. And they're upset. It's going to take a long time. It's going to make meetings longer. But I've been chairman 5 years without a salary. Just in the last 2 years, I had a salary. That was a lot of pain in my life. I think we have to take the time to respond to the people. We can't do things that are secretive. We gotta bring things out in the open and talk about them. We gotta listen to them because we gotta listen to what their thoughts are. I'm a mediator. I mediate a lot of disputes between Winnebago and Omaha tribe. Well, I can't talk about them, so not many people know that. In mediation, if you don't listen to both sides and give both sides the opportunity to be heard, mediation won't work. You have to listen to the people and let them get what's bothering them out in the open. And it takes time. We got to make time available to it works out in the end. So I will add my most second to comply with Lorelai's decision.
Okay, thanks, Louis.
That's all.
Thanks, Louis. I agree with this technology, how we're going today. When we talk about going into executive session, let's look at how we are right now. We got, I see John's at home, Thelma's at home, Lorelai's at home, Brian's in his office, and how can we go into executive session like that? So we need to have that policy, maybe it states no executive session. And I agree, we have nothing to hide. I would say that on and on. I have nothing to hide. Everything's open, and whatever they request, put in a request and we'll find it. We'll get to the bottom of it, no doubt.
Mr. Chairman.
Eric.
On some things that come to the council, they're personal matters, and it's requested by the individual bringing it to the council, where it involves their job, their credibility, their children, their family, whatever it might be. And I've heard these individuals come in and express themselves for help from the council in their personal lives. And so to a certain extent, I still do believe we're gonna need to have executive sessions just for those purposes. And I believe there's a lot of people that wouldn't want people to know what their personal problems are. So, thank you.
Mr. Chair, I would agree with Councilman Armel, although I do appreciate your opinion, but for you to kind of blanket that across and say that we have nothing to hide, we don't have nothing to hide, but speaking for this whole council, that you would be remiss in doing so, sir. Because executive sessions are needed. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just noting, the individuals at home, and the individuals that are in the office, not here, not in the chambers. And as we know in the past, when we're in executive session, it has gotten out there what we're discussing via, our technology. before executive session gets out. I'm in. So with Lorelai's motion for tribal members to participate in our meetings will be tabled until Monday for IT to look at. Matthew, will you relay that, and I will remember to relay that to Garen, okay?
Yes, sir. Also, just for the numbers on this platform, we can have up to 150 users. There is another version of GoToMeeting. If we get above that number, just for information, that's as much as we know right now.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we table that until Monday. Thank you. Okay, item 2, added items, recycling program. John.
Yes, we have a healthy recycling community. When we had our trailers down there by facilities, they were always full. So that was real good that our people were really recycling. And since the pandemic, it was stopped. I'm not sure exactly the reasons why it was stopped, but I would like to see the recycling program start putting the trailers back out so our community can start recycling again. So that'd be my motion, Chairman. I just want to make that motion that we, it's possible that we get the recycling trailers back out for the community.
A second.
Okay, that was motion by John, second by Eric. 2, to get the recycling bins out back there behind facilities. Esther, anything on this?
Again, we're kind of getting into some personnel matters, but the reason why it was stopped was because the individual in charge of it was furloughed, one of the furloughed employees. They were recently recalled, so that program should be going again fairly soon.
Okay. I guess I just want to comment as having with all my grandkids at home, 8 of them, and the good job that the school did, and the great job that the Whirling Thunder did with the summer youth feeding. What, that trash really built up, and if you notice down at the dumpsters, it really has built up. And I guess I could say we're a little late on this. I'll take the blame for that, but there was a lot of cardboard and stuff that went through this summer that could have been recycled. And we just got an understanding that's why that mess was down there weekly, because of all the extra trash that was going through when the school was feeding our kids and when we were feeding these kids out back here. Okay, thank you, John. The motion by John, second by Eric. Is there any
Question, Mr. Chair, hold on.
Go ahead.
I'm in agreement that we should be recycling. We're stewards of this land here that we live upon, and the Creator blessed us with that opportunity. And there's a whole chunk of us that's one of our primary values is to respect this creation and taking good care of it. And so this recycling part of it, that plays a part in this day and age that we live in. So I agree, let's do that. And then we're talking about this garbage, this trash, our refuse, and then how we're going to manage it. You made mention of that, Mr. Chair, that this pandemic created a problem there with that, because people are staying home, and so then you have all that byproduct you got, that's the refuse, and then it doesn't always get all picked up from deal hauling from our homes, and there's extra stuff that has to be disposed of. So we have those 2 roll-offs sitting down there at the black or behind the facilities department, And the reason that we did that was so that we wouldn't have any illegal dumping on our reservation. That went way back there to the time of when Mr. Free was on the council back in them days over there. And now we have people from out of our community coming in and dumping their refuse on these roll-offs. And so we have to look at how are we going to manage that now, you know? And these are things that we have to face. And it all comes at extra cost. How are we going to do that? And then speaking with that facilities manager, Mr. Price, he's had an idea about putting a gate up, a big sign for everyone to see, having a camera on there, and then having that gate open at certain times for community members only to be able to dump their refuse over there, and then keep it closed up the rest of the time so that we have these non-community people coming in and trying to dump illegally. These are things that we have to face as a council, and then the extra cost that it incurs to ensure that we have a clean environment for our future generations so that they can enjoy it. And when they put their seeds in the ground, that the fruits that come up out of that, it's good medicine for them. Same way with that water. And if we don't do that for them, then we will have failed them. So it's really important that we move on with that kind of a thought. But that again is just my opinion. I hope that you would all feel the same. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have one question.
Lorelei.
I appreciate everybody's thoughts about being good caretakers of Mother Earth and how we are as the Ho-Chunk people with our relatives. But I just was wondering about this company we use, this Gill Hauling, because we could be setting up recycling, but are they sorting that out and dumping in a recycling area for the plastic, and do they follow all that recycling, or how does that work? Because we could be good stewards here and then they're just taking it and dumping it over there in Jackson all together. That's my question.
Chairman.
John.
I have a little bit of thought. That was news to me. I didn't know that the employee was furloughed, and that's why the recycling stopped. And that happened before, where that position was vacant, and Wildlife and Parks took it upon themselves to haul the trailer to continue the recycling. So that could have happened again. You know, we missed that opportunity. We should have kept it going. We could have called on another program. And having hauled the recycling trailers before, personally myself, we take it to a center that's up there by Sioux City, and we dump them into recycling bins where they're shipped out to be. So they're weighed as recyclables, and the tribe pays that charge. So I just want to provide that much, and then thing that I really wish we would have just continued, and we could have called on another department just to haul it. It wasn't that big of a deal. Thank you.
Okay. Just FYI, the recycling program is starting back up this morning, today.
Mr. Chairman.
Carl, go ahead.
I'd like to add to what the point Roland brought up. James talked to me about non-Indians coming in after hours, dumping trash purposely outside those containers. And even though they have cameras around there, it didn't seem to do much good. You know, our security people are probably overworked or whatever the reason. But I'm thinking, and even if we had fencing around there. These non-Indian people, the contempt and they have for us, arrogance and contempt, they'll just dump that trash again outside the fence. That's what I'm thinking. And also about this recycling. Mr. Neff told me, he says, just throw that stuff in any one of those bins in there. So that's what they do up in the recycling center anyway. They just put it all together. But I just want people to be aware of that. So, but I do like that recycling. I appreciate it. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. With this notification that the program is starting back up again this morning, you still want to go through with your motion, John and Eric, just to assure that the recycling bins will be out there. There's motion by John, second by Eric. Any more discussion? Any objections? None? Motion passed 8-0-0. Thank you. That is it for the added items, and that is it for our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Eric, second by Roland. Is there any objections? Discussion? None? No objections, no discussion? Motion to adjourn at 10:58 a.m. 8-0-0 pass. We are adjourned. Thank you. Have a good day.